Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to work on a new project. My season is coming to an end and there's really not much time left to do a lot of these projects outside. So I have extra containers here and also extra space in my tent. So we are going to do that inside. So I started this project here about a few days ago. And the temperature dropped down to the 40s, but the lettuce are fine because they're cool weather plants. So anyway, today we are going to do a few more inside using this container here. So I'm gonna have to clean this up, drill a few more holes, and then add some plants. I kind of started the plants the lazier way because I just threw them in the raised bed. So we're gonna go dig some of those out, and then we're gonna put them in here. Also doing that, the plant is already big, so I got kind of like a head start. So I'll show you the plants, and then we'll come back and drill these holes and get going. Okay, here are some of the plants that I started a while ago, and they are at a perfect size to be transplanted into hydroponic so that they can grow there really nicely. So see, I have a bunch of romaine and some spinach that I could use. And then I have a few more. Let me show you. You see, these are the lettuce seeds here. I kind of just threw seeds all over the place, and then when they grow, I can use those instead of starting over from scratch. And lettuce plants, they're cool weather plants, so if you just throw them in your raised bed, even if the temperature is in the 50s, they will still grow. And here I have more. You see that? I just threw a bunch of seeds down, and you see, these are perfect size to be transplanted. See, those are nice lettuce there. And I could also take some arugula if I need, and then I have some more lettuce right here that I can use. And then here I have some spinach here that I can also dig up, and I can use those as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I've drilled all of the holes here, and after I'm done with all of these holes here, I decided that all of these here are just too much. So what I did was I took this insulation foam here and made holes just for the ones that I need. So we have 8 total. So you guys can do the same thing. You can drill as many holes as you want, but if you only want to use however many, then you can do that exact same thing. So this here can be purchased at Home Depot. Okay, so let's go ahead and go dig our plants up and begin the process. Okay, so here are the plants here, and what I'm going to do is dig them out. So we need to make sure that the long roots are still intact. You can damage some of the roots and that should be fine. Then we put it over here, and now we use a jet spray. You see, so that's how we get the plants out. Okay, here is my tent, and as you can see, I have some stuff going on right there, and there is the extra space, so that's why I want to utilize everything. So this is a 4x4 tent, and the light is by SpectreLED, and this is the Phaser 660. So it covers basically the entire tent, and that is why we need to use up all of the space. So I have my plants already cleaned up and ready to go, and so here is the container. It's going to sit there. It's not gonna move because once I fill this up, it's gonna be a lot of water. Okay, what we're going to do first is add some nutrients, and then we're going to add water. That way it gets mixed up evenly. So for 8 plants, you basically only need 1 gallon per lettuce plant. So we have 8 plants, so basically all you need is going to be 8 gallons. But I don't have an 8 gallons or 10 gallons container. I have a, I think this may be a 27 gallons container, but that's okay because I'm going to allow the plants to keep growing, and I'm just going to harvest leaves as I go. So it's okay for me to use a 27 gallon. So for nutrients, you're only going to need 1 teaspoon, which is 5 milliliter per gallon. So if you have a 10 gallons, basically you're going to use 10 of this. Because this is going to be too big, I think I'm only going to go 20 milliliters for this huge container. And if I think the plants needs more, then I'll add as I go. But that's what we're going to do. So make sure to shake it up. Okay, so now all you have to do is add water. And we're not going to do any pH. This is how I've been doing it for the past year, so it works great. So let's go ahead and just add our water. You see how when you spray water after adding the nutrients, it mixes everything for you? And you want to spray enough water so that it'll touch the bottom of the net cup. Okay, I have the water to the level that I need it to be. So it's touching the net cup right now. And if you're doing this, you also want to take the net cup and test it at each pockets. That way to make sure all of the area has water touching the net cup. Because if your floor is not level, then some pockets may not touch the water, and that could be a problem. So now what we need to do next is take our plant, and then we're going to use these net cups here and also a rock wool cube. So let's do the first one. Here's our plant. So we're going to take the rock wool here, and then we're going to cut this down the center. We can open it up. Then we're going to put our plant in like so. And now we feed it through. You see? And then you place the plant in here. And that is it. Okay, we are all set. Everything is done. So now all we have to do is sit back and watch the plants grow. So I will come back periodically and give you guys an update. So one more thing I did not mention. Anytime you take plants from outside indoors, make sure to rinse it off nicely and try to get off any potential pests that are in there. So that is always a risk, and I did rinse my plants really well. Okay, it has been 11 days now, and most of the plants are doing great. They survived the transplant, except for the spinach. Those, they don't seem to be doing very well. They didn't take too well the transplanting process. They're not dead, they're just not growing as I expecting. So today I'm going to pull those out and replace them with something else, because I have a few plants that I really want to grow. These are Celtic lettuce, and Celtics are basically lettuce, but used mostly for the stems. The leaves are edible as well, but the stems are the best part. So I did the same exact process. I pulled these out of the ground outside. And so we are going to replace 2 of the spinach plants with 2 Celtics. And I have a red lettuce plant there that grew in the grass. And when I pulled it out, I kind of damaged the root a little bit. So if they don't transplant well, I'm going to replace them again. But yeah, the plants are doing great. Let me show you the root system. You see? The spinach, the roots are very small, you see? The ones in the middle. So that's probably why they didn't do too well. The lettuce are doing great. So I kind of don't want the spinach anyway, because I do have a ton of them in soil right now outside. So I will take these out and put Celtus and one of the red lettuce in here. Okay, so the process is going to be the same. You see there's really no roots on this plant. It's still alive, but not grown very well, so we're going to just pull it out and reuse the entire thing. So let's see if we can pull this out and reuse it. And there it is. So I don't want to waste this rock wool. It's still nice and clean. And here is my Celtic lettuce, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Let's remove the remaining. make sure it's nice and clean. Okay, and we're going to put it back the same way and make sure the roots are down here. So I'm gonna do the rest and then I will show you guys. Okay, here we are. We removed all of the spinach plants and replaced them. So make sure that the water level touches the bottom of the net cup or touches part of the roots of the newly transplanted plants in order for them to stay alive. So not all the plants will do well during the transplanting process, so you know, always have backup, and you can still continue the experiment. I mean, if 1 or 2 plants die, you still have the rest, but it's best to utilize all of the spots right there. Okay, I just wanted to give you guys an update to show you how the newly transplanted plants are doing. So in the first day they drooped pretty much like badly because they are getting adjusted to the water condition. So 2 days later, so now we're on day number 13, and these are day number 2 in the bucket, in the container. So you see a few of the leaves kind of like wither and died, so I just trimmed those off, but the remaining plants is getting adjusted, so it's alive, that one as well. And then the red lettuce as well, it lost a few of the large leaves through the transplanting process, so it is looking great. So from now going forward, they are going to grow like crazy. So we will be back soon. Okay, welcome back. It has been a total of 19 days for the entire system, and these 2 are 8 days old. I mean, 8 days since we moved it in there, but in 19 days, look at this, the lettuce, they are looking amazing. Those 2 are doing the best. These 3 in the front here are catching up, but at this stage you are able to harvest the leaves to use. Don't cut the entire lettuce head, just cut what you need to use and allow them to keep growing, and if you keep doing that, they will produce leaves for a very long time. So in 8 days since we transplanted these guys, they are looking great now. So they're at a point where they're going to start to take off and grow really fast. But what you need to do, you see that plant right there, if you allow that lettuce leaf to grow over, it's gonna block the light from getting through to that plant. So you're gonna have to clear it. So use some of the lettuce leaves and allow some space for this guy to spread out. And that's it. It's so simple. You can start the seedlings in rock wool and then grow them in the system, or you can go outside where you already have seedlings started and pick them out and transplant them into this bucket. So in 19 days, let me show you how much water they've taken up. Really, it's not much. Look at that. There is a whole lot of water left. So the roots are looking nice and healthy. You see these newly transplanted ones, they're starting to put out new roots. So the more roots they put out, the faster they will grow. So they are going to do that very soon. Because the water is, there's just so much left. That means you can harvest and continue to harvest and just keep picking leaves as the plant grow, and you're gonna have lettuce for a very long time. So that is it, guys. That's all for this video. There's really not much to it. It's very simple to do. It's basically set it and forget it, and pick leaves when they're ready. Okay, here is a look at the plants that were outside. The temperature has been really good lately, so they are growing really well. And look at how big they've gotten here. These are really nice heads of lettuce. And a few didn't make it, so I switched them out for something else. So these are gonna grow very soon, but I'm gonna have to clear the leaves to keep the sun from blocking them. So let me show you the root system for these. Look at that. See, the more roots, the more they grow. So those new ones just started to form some new roots. So these set it and forget it systems are just amazing. You just set everything up, put the plants in, and then just wait for them to grow. So you can do this inside or outside when the weather is good enough. So even if it drops down into the 50 degrees Fahrenheit, even lower for a short period, they'll still be fine. So these have experienced temperature down into the 40 something degrees Fahrenheit for like a day, and they were fine. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it below, and thank you so much for watching.